Welcome to another exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today we're going to talk about a comment that somebody left, but it isn't really about the comment, but what it spurred me to recall. And the comment that was left is, there is a huge difference between an above standard seller and top rated / top rated plus seller. I learned this firsthand. I go back and forth all the time between both, and my sales change drastically. eBay is garbage all day, which that might be their new slogan that rhymes.
Yeah, they make sense because I've never been a top seller. I've been what am I, above average or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that explains. But I've always been for 20-something years, so I'm still getting the decline. So it's not like I was a top rated seller doing X amount of sales, and I'm doing half as a top rated. So. Interesting.
I like that. eBay is garbage all day. That should be their new tagline.
Yeah.
But what I titled the top of this sheet of paper here that I hold in my hands is, sometimes you give up. And I'm going to tell you why, Mr. Magazine.
Okay.
I used to be top rated plus, and they used to give a 20% discount for being top rated plus way back when, 100 million years ago.
Yeah.
And then they started tightening it and making it more difficult and more difficult. And I forget exactly what the last straw was. It may have been requirement for same-day shipping. That may have been the requirement.
That's a near impossibility.
And I'm sitting there, and again, I'm making this up because we're going back 10 to 15 years. But the program was such and such, and I was getting the discount. And I think then at some point they lowered it to 10%, and I'm like, oh, geez, I'm doing all this for 10%. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you have to do this. All right. Now you have to do this. And every couple of months they were adding putting new hurdles.
Harder, kind of weed out some of the riffraff in their mind.
Well, I was riffraff.
Yeah.
Because when they got down to the same day shipping, I believe it was, requirement, I just said, I can't do it. I'm not even going to worry about it anymore.
Right.
Because for the last year or whatever it was, I've been stressing with each change, and I'm doing more and more, and for really, and I sat there and I took a look at the dollar amount that we were talking about that would actually be put in my pocket, and I said, I'm killing myself for that. And I just threw up my hands and I said, no, it's not going to happen. And I'm trying to figure out, and I'm sure you have, if you had situations like that too, where you just kind of at some point you just go, nope, not worth it.
Nothing I can do about it. Yeah, it is what it is. Accept it and move on.
Can you give some examples by chance?
Oh, sure.
Well, Amazon Canada was one.
That was one, definitely, for sure. We can't compete with that.
Well, why don't you tell them what happened?
I think you'd be better at that.
Because you don't know.
Well, I didn't get officially kicked off, did I?
Well, the problem was Amazon Canada took over the inventory, but they didn't sync.
Right.
And so if he sold an item on Amazon USA, it was still available on Amazon Canada, and vice versa, even though you didn't sell too many items on Amazon Canada. Yeah. So they didn't sync, and he was getting and having to cancel all of these Amazon Canada items, sales, because he had sold it already on Amazon USA. Yeah. And you're kind of, even though there isn't a lot you can do about it at this point, aren't you kind of having a similar situation elsewhere?
Oh, yeah, on our website, we're not syncing it anymore. My IT guy thought it wasn't worth the $500 a month paying.
Oh.
What was it, the site you use?
Sellbrite.
So it was $500 a month, but we were using it more to import listings from eBay and Amazon to the website. But we got so big and so many listings, it would always freeze up and it wasn't working for what we needed it for. And we didn't think about the other repercussions that would be, as far as like not syncing eBay, the website, or Amazon and the website, or the Mr. Magazine and the adult website. So, and then we have inventory issues because things would sell, and then every now and then, or an old item would sell from eBay, but then we would relist on Amazon, and then it would sell on Amazon, but then we wouldn't have it because it sold on eBay. So it's kind of a nightmare. Luckily, we have such a massive inventory with backup duplication that we're able to probably replace at least 50% of them. And it doesn't happen every day, but it's still a problem. And again, is it worth the $500? I don't have an answer. It's nice saving $500 a month,
right?
But it's also a pain not syncing these items. So It is what it is. We're dealing with it now. And obviously, moving forward from this issue with it, since we got rid of them, they're all under each platforms. It's just the older stuff that should have been synced and not. So it is what it is.
Right. Yeah. That's always been a problem with the syncing between. I know there are various sites out there that claim they can do it, and the funny thing is, I use Sellbrite for Amazon, but I can't use it for eBay because you have to have a custom SKU. And I do use a custom SKU. However, I use the same custom SKU if it's in a given box.
Right,
so it might be box M10. Well, I might have 40 items with M10.
You want to do what my IT guy does when he does comics and stuff. Then you would do -1, -2, -3.
Right.
Order.
Right, but I have to go back and do it.
Well, I mean, moving forward, you can do it, can't you?
Yeah, that's what I do on Amazon.
Okay, cool.
That's what I do on Amazon. But I have to use a different site and pay for them to be able to bring it over from the eBay stuff because they somehow or other generate their own custom SKU off of each of my items.
This different site must be mysterious.
No.
Oh, you said you got to use it. What site are you talking about?
Well, I don't know their name.
Oh. But you use a site to bring it over?
Well, I pay them and they through Shopify, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, all right.
Yeah. No, it's available.
Shopify hires someone and you can buy it through them, that service?
It's an app.
Okay.
It's an app on there, yeah. But you have to, because I do have enough items, I have to work with them as to a special pricing and all that kind of stuff on that
Gotcha.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, no, that's always very, very important if you are selling on multiple platforms, is making sure everything syncs up automatically, because otherwise the nightmare is if it doesn't and you go away for the weekend and you have a fair number of sales, then you come back and suddenly, oh wait, this ended here, now I got to end this over here, I got to take this off of Poshmark, I got to take this off of Bonanza, I got to take this off of Hip, I got to take these 2 items off of eBay.
Yeah,
and
that's not worth it.
It really would be a complete nightmare if you do any level of sales and you got same item listed on 6 different sites. Would be a complete nightmare. And again, there are services out there, but it does get expensive. It definitely does get expensive, especially as your inventory gets up there a little bit. Kind of went off topic there a little bit, but like I said, there are times where you just will give up, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people that'll say, just do it, you got to do it.
Nike says that.
They do. But there are times where it's just not worth it. The payoff just is not worth it. And for the amount of time I would have had to do, and I probably would have been kicked out of the program as well, just because I've taken days off and gone out of town. Yeah. So if all of a sudden you got to do 1-day shipping and I go on a 2-day vacation, I'm supposed to shut my store down, but then you got to shut your store down a couple of days in advance to make sure no sales come through.
Crazy.
In order to save 10% on your final value fees. That's an awful, now if I had employees or something, it'd be a different story, but working as a one-man band, not possible, because I don't want to be tied down having to worry about shipping out the same day every day.
Sure.
So hopefully that helps you a little bit. Again, it's not what everybody else tells you, but it's the truth. There are times where you just do give up because, again, the payoff just is not worth it. And I am going to say without a doubt, it's such a burden lifted when you suddenly just say, there isn't anything I can do about this. Yeah. And you stop worrying about it. It is almost like this great weight is lifted off of you.
Yeah.
Because you say,
accept it and move on.
Accept it and move on. Yep. And you're not beating yourself up over it because you say, if it were at all doable, but it's not like I could have sat there 15 years ago and said, all right, I'm never going away overnight again just so I could save 10%. That's not reasonable.
Right.
Not reasonable at all. And once I came to that understanding, it was so much easier just to walk away. So I want to thank the person that commented and kind of took that in a different direction, which is kind of great. Do appreciate everybody who does comment. Comment down below. Give us some ideas for some future videos, and we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.